Hour number 2. Gosh, we love this Friday with 2 big-time moonshot home run topics. One of them right now in studio. Boise State's only Olympian and extender of the streak. And, you know, the Parade of Nations, the opening ceremonies going on today, all throughout the day. You'll watch it tonight. I just got to say, first and foremost, thank you to Marisa Howard for sacrificing her appearance, her attendance at the opening ceremonies because she didn't want to break her commitment to Idaho Sports Talk in our studio. Marisa, I mean, that's all good and stuff, but I mean, look at all the knickknacks and art. Look at all these tchotchkes in this studio.
I know, I'm looking around. There's some signed autographs from some Boise State players, and I'm going to hopefully add mine to the list today.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking like Marissa's going to become the first Olympian on the Wall of Honor in the back. So great stuff. 3-time Mount West champion, 2-time All-American, and now you get to say Olympian. I mean, what a magnificent moment it is for you in Boise State track and field and cross country and track and field everywhere. Just, talk about the emotions that are going through your head right now, becoming actually, let's start with the send-off. Sorry, I want to get that
We're
out
all very
of the way.
excited around
I'm nervous.
Here.
I got an Olympian next to me. Tell us about this big send-off tomorrow, Marisa Howard at Donald Larson Park.
Yeah, so we wanted to do a little test effort, as we call it. My coach doesn't like the word time trial, so we're doing a little test effort tomorrow at Donald Larson, starting at 6:30. Gates open. It's a free event. My race or test effort will go off at 7 o'clock ish. I'll do 3 laps, so it's a 1,200 meters. So it's kind of an arbitrary distance. That's not a distance I do normally, but we like to get in some sort of effort like that about a week out, usually from a big steeplechase. And so we'll do that. And then there's an opportunity to sign autographs and have some kids come out and run 2 laps with me. So it should be really fun and just exciting that my coach now has the Boise State job and we get to bring this to the Boise community.
That is really cool. And again, if you're listening, if you or your kids want a shot to meet an Olympian, here is that shot tomorrow with Marisa Howard on here. You become the first female Boise State alum to ever earn a spot on the United States track and field Olympic team. That's a big deal, Marisa. How do you process all this?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, as I've said in a lot of my interviews, the Lord is good and he gets the glory. And obviously it's been a lot of hard work for many, many years. I was injured at the 2016 trials. I was 5th at the 2021 trials. And so to finally have this all come to fruition is very, very sweet and very excited to represent Boise, my hometown, Tri-Cities, and the U.S. at the world level.
Boise State's had an Olympian in the Summer Olympics every cycle since 1988, most of them actually track and field athletes. So Boise State's doing its part to produce the great Olympic athletes that we've got going out of the city of Boise. Marisa Howard joins us now. The 3,000-meter steeplechase, it's one of the toughest, grueling, most intense events, just running, period, but now hurdling, period, and wading through water, period. And you're 32 years old, and you've been doing this grind for a long time. Why?
I just feel like I still have more to give in this sport. I never felt like I had truly reached my potential. Now that I've run 9:07, now it's like, okay, can we break 9? And the American record's 8:57. And now that's kind of on your mind, like being within 10 seconds of that. And so
wow.
I didn't get into running until like elite level running probably until high school. And so I still feel really young in the sport. And I think, having a baby, you take a year off. And so I feel like I'm getting those years back later on. And women really show their best years are in their 30s. And now they're showing their best years are after having children and in their 30s. So hopefully I have quite a few more years ahead of me.
You leave next week. We'll dive into your schedule. We'll give you guys some dates that you can watch her. But I kind of wanted to take a step back. You're from the Tri-Cities area, Pasco.
Mm-hmm.
How did you end up in Boise?
Yeah, I have a very large family. My mom is one of 7, and I had 2 aunts that had moved out here, I think in the early 2000s. And so we would come up and visit them when we were kids. And I always loved the area. And I remember visiting Boise State. It was kind of between Boise State and Eastern Washington. My mom was pushing for Eastern Washington because she's an alumni there. And I just fell in love with it. Had an awesome coach, Coach Wick. He recruited me. He left about halfway through my college career, but fell in love with the Boise area and now have been here for 14 years. And it's home now.
She's Marisa Howard. She's an Olympian, and she's in the rowpaint.com studio right now on Prater and the Ballgame, Idaho Sports Talk. What was this the biggest dream for you? You said you didn't get heavy into the sport until high school, but once you did and you saw, I mean, I guess I could ask you, this is the apex of your sport, right? There's not a higher race you can get in. What's that feel like?
Yeah, I did dream of being an Olympian when I was little. I wanted to be an Olympic gymnast. I was a gymnast when I was a kid, and I quit that at about 10 years old, and then started getting into running in high school. And so that drive and that determination has always been there. It was just a matter of what sport I was going to funnel it into. And thankfully, I've just kept kind of checking the box. I never was a state champ in high school, but I broke 5 minutes in the mile. And back in my day, that was like a big deal. Obviously came to Boise State and became an All-American, and then just kept making U.S. finals. And I'm glad I kept knocking out that door because we finally kicked it down and made this team.
You don't compete for another week. And again, we'll get you some dates here when you can follow Marisa Howard. But Johnny opened up the show by joking that you sacrificed the opening ceremony to join us today. And we do appreciate that. But why did you make the decision? I mean, I don't know if, you don't take it for granted. You're an athlete who's worked your whole life to get to this point, and it may be your only one. Why did you decide not to attend the opening ceremony?
Yeah,
which just ended. We've been watching it in here for the last 4 hours.
Yeah,
I know. That's a great question. I think I'm just very practical, and I wanted to we've just been gone a lot from Boise, and Boise is just home. We have an amazing community here of friends, amazing church community, and I wanted to capitalize how many days that I could be home, and not, be over there. I mean, it is a lot of stress and hype once you're over there. And so I wanted to just make sure that we were focusing on the things that we could control and focus on. And so we decided to fly out a few days after the opening ceremonies. And then I will attend the closing ceremonies. And we plan on attending a few Olympic events after I'm done competing. So we get to enjoy it after the big.
Did you watch it all today to kind of get the vibe and the feel? Not that you need it. You're going there to compete and you've got the vibe and the feel, but did you catch a few minutes today?
I haven't yet, but our friends are doing like a little host party later tonight. So we're going to swing over there and watch some of it.
Well, those friends are lucky. Like, oh yeah, by the way, we're watching the Parade of Nations tonight. Oh yeah, who's coming over? Well, one of the Olympians, a couple other people. I mean, a pretty good thing. Yeah.
We don't want to spoil the ending, but at the end they light a flame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Marisa Howard, Olympian in studio, 3,000 meter steeplechase. You have a chance to meet her tomorrow at Donna Larson Park. Gates are going to open at 6:30 p.m. for that. You did say, because I was thinking about this all day. I knew you'd come in, Marisa, and we got the big football player, basketball player guy in. This is fun for us to be able to talk with an Olympian and someone who participates in another sport, doesn't use a ball and everything that comes with the sport you participate in. This would be really hard for me being an Olympian, not stopping to smell the roses and experiencing everything, but feels like you made the decision. Go for it. Win the damn thing. Bring home a darn medal versus, oh my gosh, I'm 32. I made the Olympics. I don't know if I'll ever go back. I'm really going to take this in. Was that a tough decision to make?
Honestly, no. And I don't think I even consulted with my coach about whether or not I was going to go over for the opening ceremonies or not. They just asked me when I wanted to fly out. And I think I texted him, like, do these dates look good? And I think too, like, I have a son, I have a 2-year-old, and
Name?
Kai Judah. He's napping right now, but those come into decisions as well of like, he loves being home and we've been, on the road for 6 weeks before the trials. And so just those are some decisions that I have to make as a mom now, not just as an athlete.
And Kai Judah, just in case you are listening, you can watch your mom on YouTube just a little bit later on. She'll be there forever. And there's going to be YouTube videos of her running in the Olympics forever as well. Okay. Sunday, August 4th, 2:05 in the morning, Boise time. And then Tuesday, August 6th, 1:00 in the afternoon. Those are the times you're supposed to race. Mm-hmm. You're going to get through round one. You're expected to get into the finals. I think you told us 15 make the final, and you are fully expecting to go in there. So what is your expectation here? To make the finals, to make the podium, to win gold?
Yeah, I think, our goal going into the trials was to come in with no preconceived expectations. I think as an athlete in your head, it's really easy to kind of paint a picture of what's going to happen. And I think I kind of went in with open hands of just keep racing and keep competing, and all of a sudden ended up on the Olympic team. And so I think that is our mentality going into the Olympics as well, is to go earn a final and then see what happens. I mean, we have 3 women that we're sending over there that have a really good shot at earning a medal. I think Val Constein is ranked 3rd in the world right now, and then me and Courtney are ranked 7th and 8th. And so the steeple's crazy. Anything can happen. There's falls in the water jump. There's falls on the dry hurdles. I don't know if you guys probably watched the trials race where a girl fell right after the last hurdle. And so I think if you just keep racing and kind of keep that hope alive, maybe we can bring a medal home.
That was my next question, Marisa Howard, because I don't know much about the 3,000 meter steeplechase, the event that you've qualified for, an Olympian. You're going to participate and hopefully win. For our listeners too, that are like, okay, I like this athlete, I like her, this is fun, I'm going to watch Marisa Howard in the Olympics now, but I need to know a little something about the steeplechase. Fill us in, Marisa.
Yes. So it's 3,000 meters, which is 7.5 laps. And for the first half lap, we don't jump the water punt. So that half lap is pretty, it's just flat. There's no hurdles. And then once we hit the finish line, that's when the hurdles start. And there's 5 hurdles per lap. One of them is a water jump. So that one we don't actually hurdle. Well, some of the African runners and some people do choose to hurdle that one, but that one we step on and we kind of propel ourselves off of that to kind of push yourself through the water jump. And then, I mean, at the trials, my legs were dead by the last hurdle. I remember just praying that I got over and got to the finish line, but I'd never been running that fast either in my life.
So your PR.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. I'm an old fat high school shot putter who actually made my state finals at Albertson Stadium, Bronco Stadium, right when the turf was green. And I've actually covered 2 Olympics. So I think I know a little bit about what's going on.
Okay.
But I got a really dumb question. Who the hell thought it was a good idea to put a water pit in the middle of a track? Where did that come from? What demented human being 100 years ago said this is a good idea?
Yeah, I know it's a horse race, essentially, is steeple, right?
Okay.
I think it comes from horses originally. And I know men have been doing it in the Olympics for a long time. Like I want to say maybe even 50s, 60s is when they started, 1950s, 60s. Women, it didn't get added to the Olympic program until 2008. And so it's a very new event for women. The world record, I feel like the American record and the world record have been broken in recent years just because of how new it is to the Olympic program. So very excited to be, part of kind of a newer event.
What about, have you ever twisted your ankle in that water? What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in the water? Other than, I would imagine there's been a couple of falls.
Yeah. My second steeple ever, I fell in the water jump. And then actually I had a U.S. championships in 2015. There was probably 5 or 6 falls in the water jump. And what was happening was the sun was coming down as we were turning the corner to hit the water jump. And a lot of us couldn't see the barrier. And so there, if you watch those videos back, we were falling. All of us were falling. Falling in there. Unfortunately, our top 2 American women earlier this season, one of them tore her ACL practicing the water jump, and another one did break her ankle. So it is common. Yes. It can happen.
Marisa Howard, Olympian, Boise State alum, also got some news on the future of her career and whatnot too. We'll get to. She's in studio here on Prater and the Ballgame. You had your PR, your personal record in the most important race of your life. It was the race that was going to put you into the Olympics or not.
Yeah.
And you had the best performance you've ever had. I can't imagine having my best radio show ever in the most important show of my life, but that's what you hit. That's what you did. A lot of admiration. Did it help you when you were in your head? Because I don't know what you think about when you're racing 3,000 meters, but I'm sure it's a bunch of stuff. Just put us in your head. Like, how do you think you're going to get through psychologically when it's not in Eugene, Oregon, which is great, but it's Paris, France, and it's the stinking Olympics.
Yeah, you want me to put in my head at the trials?
How do you think you're going to play? How do you think your head's going to work when you're running in the Olympics?
Yeah.
It worked for you the last time.
I think thankfully practice makes, I don't want to say perfect because I don't really believe in that term perfect, but practice makes excellence, and I think I feel like I hit all the boxes and I am excellent at what I do at practice time. And so you go through all those same motions at practice so that when it does come to these big moments, it's not scary. And it's not this, like I know what to do. I know how to steeple. I know how to execute a good race. And it's a matter of just putting it together on that big stage. And I know the US American team is the hardest team to make in the world. And so I think coming through the gauntlet of the American system, I think prepares us well for the Olympic level. So I don't think it's going to personally, I don't think it's going to feel any crazier, any different than the Olympic trials, thankfully.
3,000 meters, that's not an extreme distance for you. I mean, for me and Johnny, it'll require an ambulance. So let's not even go there. But when you're at the peak of training, let's say, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever, how many miles a week are you running, despite the fact that it's not this extreme event? And what are you doing? I mean, and I would imagine leading up to Eugene, and certainly right now, you've tapered down to the point where you're doing almost nothing?
No, actually, we got back up to like pretty full volume these last 4 weeks after the trials. But yeah, my full volume is at about 55 to 60 miles a week, which actually is considered lower volume on the professional level. I had a lot of injuries in college. I was running probably 75 to 80 miles a week. And my coach and I, we found the sweet spot to where I run about 55 to 60, and then I cross train 3 or 4 times a week. So that's either biking or swimming to kind of supplement.
And you do that here in Boise, the biking and the swimming?
Yeah, I try to bike indoors just for the safety. I'm not, an expert road cyclist, and so I'll just hop on the trainer, and then I go to the YMCA, and yeah, I love swimming there.
Do you hang out with Kristen Armstrong?
I haven't seen her. I actually think I'll meet her tonight at the jump event. There's a KTVB down there, so I haven't met her. Jay Tess has been trying to connect us, so I'll get to meet her tonight.
Oh, you probably have no chance if that's the case. She's probably not even going to show up now that Jay Tust invited her. All kidding. Give me one Olympic teammate that, Marisa, okay, I get where you are, but you might not be able to control yourself for these 10 seconds. You're going to go up and you're going to introduce yourself and say, Marisa Howard, hi, how are you? Who are you going to meet?
Well, the funny thing is people were asking me like, oh, who are your roommates? And I'm like, oh, I asked for LeBron James and Simone Biles. So, I mean, I don't know if LeBron's actually staying in the Village. In my head, I'm like, oh, he's staying at some penthouse, right? I mean,
you'd think.
Yeah, but I've heard him and Steph Curry, I heard today, like wanted the full experience. So we will see if I see them. Honestly, I'd love to meet Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. She obviously is a Christian and, an amazing athlete, world record holder in the 400-meter hurdle. So we have the hurdling, that we kind of match up on. So I think she would be a great one to meet.
Are you staying in the Village when you get there? Because you're taking your family.
Yeah. So I'll stay in the Village until after my races, and then I'll go stay with my family. They're at an apartment about 5 miles from the Village. So I'll stay with them once I'm done competing.
And you mentioned that you're going to go try to do some events. What event do you want to see the most as a fan?
My husband's a big basketball fan, and so we would love basketball, but the tickets are like $3,500, I think.
What?
Which, just crazy. So we did buy tickets for beach volleyball. It's right in front of the Eiffel Tower. And then we'll probably see a few other events, but at this point, don't have anything else scheduled quite yet.
If you win at gold, you can go to anything you want for free. I think that
is that a thing?
I made that up. But I would imagine the leverage goes way up. So just win a gold, and then you got a free ticket to Paris, right?
I'd have a little more cash flow too if I won a gold, so we'd be able to afford it. Yeah,
that's right. What is that now? $75,000 or?
I don't know. So I've heard in the past they never paid Olympians, right? Like that is like the pinnacle of the sport of like, no, we don't want them doing it for the money, but this is the first time where the athletics competition is actually paying.
So you're getting a check for this.
Yes.
Yeah, if you medal.
Yeah, if we medal, if I medal there, I will get paid, which is really cool.
Marisa, let's stinking medal.
Yeah.
Let's get you paid. Lots coming up. Again, Olympian Marisa Howard with us in studio with that 3,000-meter steeplechase. That's what she's going to be participating in. And Prater, she's a busy person, Marisa Howard, because after the Olympics, she's got some news to share as well. Tell us what's coming, coach.
Yes, so I'll be volunteering as a Boise State coach. My coach just got the Boise State head track and cross country job, and I was coaching previously with my husband out at Rocky Mountain in Meridian. And I decided to take more of a wife role now and support him in that way, and then help out with the Boise State athletes. So very excited.
But in no means, and again, you are 32, which is really respectable. But the fact that you're going to these Olympics, you feel like you've got at least one, maybe even 2 more Olympic cycles. You're going to go volunteer coach. You're going to go be a mom, but you want to keep being a high-profile, top-flight international athlete, right? For the next 2 or 3 Olympic cycles?
Yeah, I had always planned on, even if I hadn't made this team, I had planned on competing at least through 2028, whether that's on the track or I switched to the road or the marathon. We haven't quite decided yet, but at least through 2028, and then maybe even through 2032. We're hopeful to sign a professional contract with a shoe company here soon, to where that would basically fund that, and I'd be able to.
You'd have a shoe deal.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully soon.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And LA lurking. I mean, that's got to be a pretty cool event for American athletes to be able to compete here and and just soak that up. So to 28 in LA is a big deal for you.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously Paris, I mean, it's just epic, right?
Yeah.
But to do it on home soil and to have, I mean, I would think I would have hundreds of people that would come there. You know, LA is very accessible for US athletes. And so it'd be really cool to have family there.
Absolutely. Marisa Howard, man, I want to say more than good luck. You know, I mean, we're going to all be watching, and 3-time Mountain West champ, 2-time All-American, and now an Olympian, former Boise State Bronco, Marisa Howard. Before we get you out of here, one more time, just for our listeners who are just joining us, there's a big event Boise State Athletics is hosting tomorrow at Donna Larson Park in your honor.
Yes. Come out, come meet me. I'm sure there's going to be events in the future, but this is an event where you get to kind of send me off and wish our family good luck on this big adventure.
6:30, Donna Larson Park. Bring your kids, run a couple of laps with an Olympic athlete, a current Olympic athlete, and she'll even sign a couple of autographs for you. She'll compete Sunday, August 4th in round 1, Tuesday, August 6th in the final. That's a guaranteed spot. She's going to go get a gold medal. And then you're going to come back here and join us one more time, right?
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Oh,
Johnny, have you ever touched the gold medal?
Heck no, man. I don't even think I've seen one in person with my, So
well, I've had that experience, and it's really, really cool. And we need a gold medal for Johnny to touch.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe
I'll
for
work
you
on
too.
it.
Maybe for you too.
Yeah, for you to be able to wear, and
Yeah.
I'd love to take a look at that. Marisa Howard, thanks for giving us your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Boise State, another Olympian. They've had one in every summer games since 1988 and counting. The extender of the streak, Marisa Howard. Prater on the ball game, KTIK, the ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.